today is to consider resolutions, and I would like to invite our Resolutions Committee Chair, Wade Noble, to come forward and present the resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. President. This has been a truly great conference. My knuckles are still red and sore from the whack by the ruler of the commissioner, but I have promised to be a better boy and keep Christmas in my heart all year long. Before we get to the resolutions, we do have an announcement or sort of announcement for those of you who attended or attempted to attend the Arizona Caucus breakfast yesterday morning. We just want you to know that there's been some serious work by the committees. We believe that they have looked for and may have found another room that would accommodate 10 more tables, a couple of more speakers in the sound system, and of course, move the buffet lines inside the room so that, in alphabetical order, those states below us can't come for our food as well as our water.
The resolutions, please.
Unfortunately, the bad news is this. The room they found is at Bally's. But wait a minute. They've told us that what they'll do is they'll have 3 tour buses out in front that will be able to transport the Arizona people over there, and they almost guarantee that we'll be back in time for the afternoon session. Are there any questions about the resolutions? Good. That's my favorite part of this whole thing, is you ask for questions and nobody ever asks questions. I remember the last time we had any controversy about a resolution was back when Tom Choles was the chair of the Resolutions Committee. The Resolutions Committee of the Colorado River Water Users Association has recommended to the Board of Trustees and the various states' caucuses approval of the 2019 resolutions of the association. The Board of Trustees has approved those resolutions, and each state caucus has approved those resolutions. It is now time that the membership of the association adopt the proposed resolutions for 2019. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. You'll note we didn't take down your names because it won't go into the minutes. It's been moved and seconded that the proposed resolutions for 2019 for the Colorado River Users Association be adopted. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Crickets. Thank you very much.
I think I want to say thank you for that. Something about that balance thing, I'm not sure. Next, I would like to report on the results of some of the changes in the Board of Trustees due to vacancies. In Colorado, it's my pleasure to announce Bob Wolf was selected as the new trustee replacing John Porter. And in Nevada, Sarah Price was selected to replace Jane Harkins. And I think those are important changes, so you all are aware of who the trustees are. But before we move on to the next piece, I really want to thank John and Jane for their service and dedication to moving this association forward. And they have been here a long time working for this organization. And I just want to make sure that we don't lose fact of saying thank you to them. And as important, welcome Bob and Sarah to the Colorado River users. They told me I only needed about 3 or 4 minutes until Wade got up, so I'm assuming I'm down to a little less than that. Jim Holway, if you could come up, I would love that. Jim Holway is the Vice President of the Central Arizona Project Board of Directors, and we will be having a wonderful video on their 50th anniversary. Jim?
Jim, thank you. So on behalf of the Central Arizona Project Board of Directors, I'm honored to be able to speak with you this morning, and I'm really enjoying that we'll get to show you a video we put together to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Colorado River Basin Project Act. I think as most of you know, that was signed by President Johnson in 1968, and one of the central aspects of that act was the authorization of the Central Arizona Project. There were, as is typical of any major act through Congress, there certainly were other components of the act that benefited the Upper Basin and other areas, but the CAP Canal was the central part of that. So I always enjoy listening to this, and in particular, hearing the quotes of President Johnson, who spoke about the water in the West and spoke about the importance of this canal to Arizona, to the economy of the region, and it's a real pleasure to hear all that. The actual anniversary of the date was September 30th, 2018, and within the Central Arizona Project, we have spent the entire year celebrating the history of this act and pointing it out in our meetings and sharing it with our partners throughout the basin. So in that light, I look forward to sharing this with all of you, and good luck with the rest of your holidays. Thank you.
So this morning we have come here to sign another bill that will help assure us of the water that we need. This bill, as all of you know, is the Colorado River Basin Bill. This will be one of the largest reclamation projects that's ever authorized in any single piece of legislation. The Colorado River begins high in the snow-capped Rockies. For an entire region of America, this great river, therefore, is the lifeline of survival, the lifeline of growth and of prosperity and of hope. Next to the air that we breathe, water is our most precious resource. Each year, civilization's appetite for water doubles and then redoubles. It takes 70,000 gallons of water to produce a single ton of steel. It takes 500,000 gallons of water to irrigate a single acre of California orchard land. As our demand surges and our population grows, the Earth's supply of water remains constant. That supply has not changed in 5,000 years.
Fortunately, a group of great men, Carl Hayden and Mo Udall and Stu Udall and John Rhodes and Barry Goldwater, they all got together in a bipartisan fashion, and the Central Arizona Project was born. It was a many-year effort. Phoenix would not be what it is today. Tucson would not be what it is today. Our valley would never have been able to grow the way that it has without the CAP water. Getting an authorization through the Congress of the United States, that was a key element, and it took them a long time to do it.
For 2 decades, the Colorado River has been the subject of unrelenting controversy and competing claims, and I've been in the middle of a good deal of it over the years. And I have a feeling of freedom this morning when I see California and Arizona sitting there arm in arm, smiling with each other. And Isaiah must be proud to finally recognize that they have come to reason together. For the millions of Americans west of the Continental Divide, it'll provide more water for growing cities. It'll provide more water for expanding industries, for the farmers' crops, and for the ranchers' cattle. It will let us build aqueducts and power plants and a network of projects for irrigation, for community water supplies, for flood control, for electricity, and finally for recreation. I think I know what a plentiful water supply can mean to a barren and parched countryside. I have seen irrigation ditches flow. I have seen the spring rains harnessed. I have seen floods prevented. I have seen families enjoy the serenity of a new lake shore where once there was only dust.
Today, Central Arizona Project is a 336-mile-long system of aqueducts, tunnels, pipelines, and pumping plants. We are a water wholesaler, providing water to municipal, industrial, and agricultural and tribal water users. CAP delivers Colorado River water to central and southern Arizona, serving a 3-county region where 80% of the state's population resides, about 5 million people. Without Colorado River water, the central and southern areas of Arizona would look very different, and the economies would be markedly diminished. More water is exported from the Colorado River than from any other river basin in the world. In Arizona, this act led to one of the world's great engineering marvels. You can even see it from outer space. That's quite an accomplishment. We are watching history made every day, and we are making history ourselves, and that's really something to celebrate.
And today we meet here in Carl Hayden Day, really, in the White House, to sign this great project for the people that he loves and in honor of him whom men of both parties love and respect and admire.
The signing of the Colorado River Basin Project Act was the result of tenacious Arizonans. They had a steadfast vision that water security and stability were critical to ensuring Arizona's future. The result is what we know today as the Central Arizona Project. Signing the Basin Project Act was achieved only after hard-fought battles that were the result of decades of heated legal arguments. The act is an extraordinary example of collaboration among diverse Arizona interests and was led by Arizona's senior senator, Carl Hayden. The effort required by Arizona leaders to get the Basin Project Act passed is an amazing legacy to us and is indeed critical to Arizona's future. Much of Arizona's economic development can be traced to the water supply envisioned by those Arizonans more than 50 years ago. Today, CAP's board of directors and staff continue the tradition of collaboration with our partners in the state, the region, and the nation.
So by taking this action today, I know from what I've seen that we are making the waters of the West a little sweeter, and we'll make the grass of the West a good deal greener.
Jim, thank you, and for CAP, congratulations on meeting that mark. I also would like to make you aware of another anniversary that's as important is Lake Havas, who's celebrating their 80th anniversary. So we're going to take a short break to allow the panelists to gather and get themselves up here. Probably take about a 10-minute break for that to happen, and then we'll start with the panel. So wander, but don't wander too far away, because I think it's coming soon.